Hello, everyone. Hope you're doing well and hope you can hear me well. Please just put some kind of plus in the chat box if everything's fine with the sound. Hello. Oh, thank you. I'm so glad that everything's fine with audio because, you know, everything might happen. Fine. We are waiting for 1 more minute. So just to start at 2:30 sharp. And while we are doing that, please, again, in the chat box, could you write, could you indicate age group of the students you work with? Because today I'm going to share some activities, some games with grammar. So I have to be sure that you can use them with your students. So age group. And by the way, just online, offline as well, because yes, there will be some activities to use only in the classroom, but I will try to show how to adapt it for online teaching. Good range. Nice. Okay. So yeah, teens. So yeah, fine. Well, we will see what we can do with them. So, first of all, a piece of information about me. Yeah, my name is Maryna Myronyuk. I'm a CELTA trainer and CELTA trainer at LC. I have a few qualifications, and in total, I've been teaching for around 15 years. I taught, I had an experience of teaching kindergarten children, adults, teenagers, state school. So quite a range, I would say. And if you don't mind, I will answer if there are any questions and you leave them in the chat box. I will answer them a bit later so you can focus on the presentation only. Fine. Okay. The name of this session is Making Grammar Fun. But actually, do we really need fun? Because we are not clowns, we are teachers. And our task is to teach students, not to engage them and entertain them. No, okay, engage, but not entertain them. So in general, is fun really important? Yeah, it is, because actually our brain works that way. If we have positive emotions, actually both positive and negative, but strong emotions, they help us remember better. Yeah, I mentioned both positive and negative. Positive help more. So let's try to do that. Actually, if the students know that they come to your lesson and there will be some fun, they will be more eager to come. They will be motivated to learn something because they would like to win a game, win a competition. That's why kind of it will motivate them. If we use different activities, they will help us make students repeat one and the same thing several times. And when we repeat, we remember. If we are positive, yes, we are more resilient. So what does it mean? We can stand stress of studying. We look at our learning in a more positive way. We are not afraid of mistakes. Also, when students have to play, before that, quite often they need to play different games in teams. That means that they have to somehow cooperate with their peers, with their classmates. if our lesson is quite monotonous, that some games, some fun will help to break up this monotonous lesson. Some students do not like studying, but they like playing. In that case, you will encourage them as well, and they will participate. Well, look at this. Just any memories connected to the picture like that. Actually, just to me, it is some kind of memory from the past. A teacher coming to the class, announcing the topic of the lesson, then explaining the rules. Usually it was done in Russian because, you know, I'm quite old and at that time we were taught using Russian. And then we were doing numerous exercises. You probably know these nice books by Kaushanskaya, Galitsynskaya with long tasks, sentences to open the brackets, and so on and so forth. So why didn't I like those lessons? Because actually, this topic rules exercises, they lacked first thing. I didn't know why I needed this particular grammar. So no clear reason. Something explained, something told us, but I didn't know why I needed that. And lots of similar tasks. I know some students like writing a lot. I actually like to open in the brackets. It was fine for me, but we were usually asked to write the whole sentence into the copybook. And imagine this 20, 30 sentences copied. Oh, it was kind of a nightmare. So let's put it this way. I am not against grammar exercises. We need them, yes, but there has to be some limit to how many of them we give to our students. So what can we do with that? If there is no clear reason why this grammar has to be used, it means that we as teachers, we have to present and practice this grammar in meaningful context. And if the problem is about lots of exercises to do, we need to somehow think how to vary the tasks. Well, that is what we are going to look at now. We will see how we can present, practice grammar, and we will see how we can vary the tasks. Well, first of all, when we are talking about presentation, we can make presentation meaningful and fun with the help of context. Content. First of all, here are some English jokes. Yeah. We've got the beginnings of the jokes and we've got endings of the jokes. Please, individually, look at the beginnings, at the end, and the endings, and match them together. And your answers in the chat box, please. Any volunteers to give the answers? No? Okay. It's no need to send me a direct message here. You can just write in the chat box. Okay, we can agree that one, okay, probably 1B. Thank you. Okay. Well, so thank you for your ideas, for participation. Let's look at the answers. So, same, different? Well, if you look at these jokes, yes, some of you students might find them not as funny as you would like them to be, but still, if you look at the jokes, what grammar do you think we could present using them? So again, which grammar points do you think we can present with the help of these jokes? Right, present. Oh, thank you very much. Absolutely true. Present perfect continuous. So we ask our students to match the jokes, beginnings and endings, and then we focus on grammar. Okay. What else? Oh, so where did I take these jokes? I took them from the book, which is Lessons with Slaughter. There is one more similar book, yeah. There are quite a lot of ideas for different age groups and for different levels. Okay, let's continue. So, also we can use different songs. Again, depends on your student's age group and level and preferences. But let's look at it as an idea. So I give my students this song, right? Again, what grammar do you think I will focus on? Right, past simple. Thank you very much. So probably first of all, we will work with the song as it is. Then we will look at the lyrics. I will ask my students to underline verbs. They see action words they see in the song, and then we will work with. I will ask if the words are in present, past, or future. Then I will ask them to come up with the present form with infinitives of these verbs. And then we will see that some of the words are regular verbs, others are irregular verbs, and we will continue working with that. Well, maybe something more, let's say, modern, right? If you look at this song, what grammar point might I practice here, present here with my for my students? Yes, here it is phrasal verbs, right? Give up, work out, give in, so on and so forth. Yeah, the most important thing, if we are talking about grammar, I will probably focus on separable and inseparable phrasal verbs, in which case we need to keep them together, in which case we can separate them with noun or pronoun. Well, now I would like you to probably take a piece of paper. We'll see if it works. Okay, please take a piece of paper. And here is one more song here. Please look through it. And now, hopefully it will work. You will listen to it. And what I want you to do is to look at gap number 2 and look at gap number 4. only gap number 2 and gap number 4. Please listen to the song and try to hear what should go in gap number 2 and in gap number 4. Okay. Could you hear the song? Could you hear the sound? No? Okay. Oh, just, well, then we will do a bit in a bit different way. Sorry, yeah. Just then. Okay. Okay, we will see if it works like this. Should have said no, you should have gone home. Should have thought twice before you let it all go. You should have known it word about what you did with her. Get back to me. Okay. Yeah, now I know my. Yeah. Sorry, I know my mistake. I cannot share together screen and sound. So, okay, just forget about that. Then what I meant by what I wanted to show by that actually one more way of working with songs for grammar presentation is given a song with the gaps, plain audio, asking your students to listen to the audio and to fill in the gaps with your target grammar. Because actually in this case, if you look at the song lyrics, you will see that these are the words that had to be in the gaps. Shouldn't have gone, should have thought, should have been, should have known. Yeah, so focusing on should plus have plus past participle. So again, we give them the lyrics with the gaps. So they listen, they fill in the gaps, and then you present the present grammar. Why do we use this type of activity? Because actually, if the gaps are for your target grammar, you at the same time can check if the students are already familiar with that. Because if the students know the structure, they will probably hear it and will be able to do the task. Okay. One more way of presenting with the text is Dictogloss. Again, in the chat box, have you ever heard of this technique? Plus, if you're not sure, question mark. Okay. A few notes here, so I will show you my way of doing Dictogloss. If you want to participate, I would like you to take a piece of paper again, if you have it, and I'm going to dictate you 3 sentences, but it's not going to be a dictation. I'm not going to dictate, sorry. I will read you a text, short text. Yeah, I will read it in my natural, probably faster than usual, but natural speech. And I would like you to take notes while I'm reading, because actually I'm not sure you will be able to write every single word. But let's see. So again, you take a piece of paper, I dictate, or I read, and you write. Again, if you want. Well, ready? Tom first met his wife Janet 4 years ago, but they soon found that they had a lot in common. Okay, could you please? Yeah, thank you. Again. Can you please mute yourselves, right? Yes, thank you very much. Okay. Well, so once again then. Tom first met his wife Janet 4 years ago, but they soon found that they had a lot in common. They had both chosen the same career. At the time they met, both owned a gym, and before that, both had competed seriously at sports competitions. Tom had even tried for the Olympics in his youth. Well, now I'm going to read it again, and you can add notes to what you've already written, if any. Tom first met his wife Janet 4 years ago, but they soon found that they had a lot in common. They had both chosen the same career. At the time they met, both owned a gym, and before that, both had competed seriously at sports competitions. Tom had even tried for the Olympics in his youth. So I dictated twice. Students take notes. Then I asked students to work in pairs or small groups and reconstruct as much as possible. And when they reconstruct the text, I give them original text. And what I want here, I've dictated only the first paragraph. What I want here is to compare the forms of verbs they used in their reconstructed texts. By this Dictogloss, I tried to focus my students' attention to past perfect. Right? So that is the way of presenting past perfect. It will both help, again, me to give context and present in context, and for students to show if they already know past perfect or not. So combination of test and presentation. What else? Actually, I am the teacher who likes sharing personal information with my students. I believe this is the way you build a good rapport with them. And actually, I'm the person like that, you know. So what can be done to present grammar? Well, these are two pictures of myself. First was taken 8 years ago, and one more actually was taken 3 years ago, but let's imagine it's me now. And I show the pictures to my students, and then I give them some sentences about myself. And now, please, look at the sentences. Decide which of them are about me 8 years ago, and which of them are about me now. So please, in the chat box, which of them are about me 8 years ago? What do you think? Okay, so let's see together. Yes, actually, you're absolutely right, Oksana. So all the sentences with used to are about me 8 years ago, but this is the way of presenting this grammar to pre-intermediate students. They actually do not know anything about you still, so they have to think a little bit. So write sentences about me 8 years ago are number 1, number 2, number 5, 6, and 7. So that is the way of presenting used to. Yes. So students do the task, then we will discuss the sentence, see what they have in common, and continue working with grammar, focusing on meaning, form, and pronunciation, then some practice. Okay, one more way of using personal information to present grammar. These are 2 cats. Busa, Rejula. They are my colleagues' cats. And here are some sentences about Busa and Rejula. And I want you to look at the sentences and decide which of them are about 1 cat and which of them are about 2nd cat. Actually, again, if you look at the sentences, in this way, which grammar am I going to present? So I'm not asking you to decide. No, yeah, just we will come back to being impossible to do this. Yes. So right, it's present simple. But thank you very much. Let me scroll and see. Lisa, you've mentioned that it's impossible to do because if you look at the previous slide, we have numbers. Yes, you can simply type numbers in the chat box. But if you look at the list here, we have bullet points. So now the only thing you can do is to write the whole sentences. And if you meant that you don't know my cats or my colleagues' cats, yes, that's also true. But that is kind of guessing. You look at the photos and you decide, okay, Busa, yeah, just I look at it and I think, no, she definitely doesn't like playing a lot. So the sentence she plays a lot is not about Busa, it's about Rajula. Again, this way of presenting doesn't require students to know everything about your cats, but just to play a guessing game, right? And to present a grammar in meaningful context. One more thing is true, false statements. Again, some sentences about me, a lot, you see, a lot of information about me. Students work in pairs and decide which statements are true or false about me. So please, now you have numbers. What do you think? Which statements are true about me? Which statements are not true about me? Okay, 4, 6 false. Okay, I would say, yeah, you're absolutely right about 4. It's false, but not about 6. 5. Actually, I met Klitschko brothers. I even have a photo with them, both of them. Yeah, my kids, who are twins, actually, they took part in some kind of concert. So yeah, I met Klitschko brothers. Well, thank you for your guessings. False. Number 2. I've been abroad a bit more than once. And I have never made any parachute jumps. And that's it, actually. So number 2 and number 4 are false. The rest are true. Well, with the help of these statements, again, which grammar do I want to present to the students? Yes, again, present perfect, thank you. And if I want to add some more information to the statements, for example, I've met Klitschko brothers. It was 10 years ago. We took part in blah, 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 blah. That will help me introduce the difference between present perfect and past simple. That first we introduce information with present perfect and then give extra detailed information using past simple. Okay, fine. Well, now let's come to exercises. That is also one of the things that our students do not actually like, yeah, doing the tasks. Well, first we will see how to make checking the exercises a bit of fun. Well, I would tell you the truth that the advantage of these activities I'm going to show you is that students collaborate, they work together, it's teamwork. But disadvantage is that these ways of checking tasks might take time. Sometimes if your lessons are short and you do not have much time, then probably you won't be able to use it as often as you would like. But let's see. Okay. First of all, your students do the task. Probably individually, open the brackets. Then, if you want, they compare answers in a team, in a group, in pairs. And then you start checking. You ask an answer, and if the answer is correct, you pay for the answer. If answer is not correct, you do not pay. The team that gets more money wins. For this activity, I've printed money from Monopoly game, and kind of students, you know, they like being paid. One more game is called Casino. We have a task. Students do the task. Then they compare. I would like my students to work in teams in this case. They compare answers in pairs. And for each answer, they bet, yes, they give points. If they're absolutely correct, if they're absolutely sure in the answer, they give 20 points to it. If they have some doubts, they give 10. If they are not sure, they give 5. Why I've chosen 20, 10, and 5? Because it's easier. It will be easier for me to calculate later. So I start saying, for example, exercise 10, sentence 2, group number 1. How many points do you give? They say 20. And what is the answer? They tell me the answer. If the answer is correct, I give them 20 points. If their answer is not correct, they get 0. Then I go to the next team. Exercise 10, sentence 3. How many points do you give? Let's say 5. What is the answer? They tell the answer. They say the answer. If it is correct, they get their 5 points. If they do not, if they're not correct, again 0. And that way, by the end of checking activity, we see again who the winner is, who got more points. If you work online, you can it's possible to play this game both online or offline. If you do it offline, you simply draw a grid on the board. Students choose, in my case, we have 5 exercises, and 5 exercises we have 5 sentences each. And the students in teams, they choose an exercise and the sentence. And if the answer is correct, they get their points. If you work online, below you can see a link to the site where you can create this Jeopardy game. and use it with the students. One of my favorites, probably might be difficult to understand from the beginning what to do, but my students, both me and my students, they are like playing at that. But sometimes, you know, they are not very happy about their result because it's also just luck here. So what you do? You as a teacher, you draw this kind of grid, and you, in my case, yeah, I have 4 exercises, 6 sentences in each exercise. I put equal number of hearts in bombs. It doesn't look like a bomb, but just the name of the game is Hearts and Bombs. So these are bombs, and some boxes without any heart and bomb, empty. You do not show it to your students. Your students see only this empty grid on the whiteboard, for example. And what happens? Students decide, for example, exercise 3, sentence 4. You say, oh, it's a heart. You draw a heart here. And if your student then give the answer, and if the answer is correct, the group gets 2 points. If the answer is not correct, the group gets 1 point because it is a heart, so they are lucky. Then the next team says exercise 2, sentence 2, and they say, oh, it's a bomb. Students give you the answer to the task, and if the answer is, if the answer is correct, if the answer is correct, they get only -1 point. But if the answer is incorrect, they get -2 points. Yeah, unfair. Me, I would say. Okay, sorry for that. And same with empty box. If the answer is correct, 1 point. If the answer is incorrect, 0 points. Snakes. The task here is to draw the longest snake. In teams, they choose exercises, give the answers, and if the answer is correct, they get this box. And their task is to connect, to make the longest snake. So one team draws this red snake, another team draws this blue snake. Quite similar, but noughts and crosses. Just get 3 in line. I've shown that. Team number 1 get a line here. Team number 2 get a line there. So they have to draw as many lines as possible. This game, I believe it can be played only in the classroom. You draw something like that on the board. Yeah? And students, they are given a ball. They take the ball, they stand with their backs to the board, so they are not looking, and they have to throw the ball. Yeah. And depending on which of these parts of the target they reach, they get points. If a ball is thrown somewhere around, obviously 0 points. So, for example, Ekaterina, you answer. So first, Ekaterina comes to the board, throw the ball, and only then gives the answer. Here, again, a game which I call football. I draw something like that on the board, and I take a magnet and start moving the magnet. But I will show you how it can be done online. So I put this magnet in the middle. Here we have team number 1. Here we have team number 2. Team number 1 gives an answer. The answer is correct. Then I move the magnet towards the opponent's goal. Yeah. If the answer is incorrect, I move the magnet towards their goal. So answer 1, answer 2, goal. Yes, team gets 1 point. I put the magnet back to the middle, and we continue checking the tasks, yeah? Like that. Okay. So, as I told you, these activities, they add some fun to your to the way you check exercises, to check grammar, but they are all time consuming. One more way of adding some fun is making task completion fun. So again, how can we do that? One of the activities you can use with the students is called grammar race. In my case, I take a page from the copybook. This one is from Grammar Friends. Yeah. I make a enough copies for the students, and divide into exercises. And what happens first? First, I give my students only the first exercise. They work in pairs or in groups of 3. They do this exercise number 9 only. And when they are done, they run to me and show me the answers. It's very important that every student in the pair or in the group has the same answer, so that they discuss, talk to each other. They run to you, show the answers, and if the answers are correct, you take this piece of paper from them and give task 10. They finish with task 10, run to you, everything's fine, you give task 11, winners. If they run to you and they show the task, but there are some mistakes, depends on you and depends on the task. You can either tell the students there are some mistakes. You can tell your students there are 2 mistakes, or only 1 mistake. Or if it's not a choice between 2 options, you can even indicate which sentences contain mistakes. Again, depends on your choice. They come back to their place, change, correct what they need to correct, and come back to you again. So the team or pair that has done all 3 exercises first is the winner. Banana dictation. We have 10 sentences in this particular exercise. In general, what would we do? We would give these 10 sentences to everyone. They will do the task, and then we would compare, and so on and so forth. But it's possible to make it a bit of fun. But again, still make sure that they, by the end of exercise, they will do all 10 sentences. So you divide the exercise into 2 parts. Student A gets sentences from 1 to 5. Student B gets sentences from 6 to 10. They work individually, or they work in group student A with student A, student B with student B. They do the task. You as a teacher, you check if everything is correct. And then you pair student A and student B together. And what happens? Student A reads the first sentence, but instead of the gap, he or she says banana. For example, what banana some of the things that make you angry? And student B has to write an answer. By the way, what is the answer here in exercise 1 in sentence 1? So, what banana some of the things that make you angry? I will comment on that just a second. Yeah, thank you, Lydia. What are some of the things that make you angry? Thank you. Okay, thank you, ladies. Right. Then student A dictates one sentence. Student B writes the answer. Then student B reads her sentence. Student A writes the answer. Then they check each other. Yeah, very good point, Jan, that in this grammar race, some students clever students might be doing everything. So in this particular, again, everything depends on your choice. Actually, if there is a big gap between faster, clever students and slower students, you can differentiate the task. For clever students, you can give 2 more difficult tasks, but for weaker students, you can give 2 easier tasks. So each group, clever students work together, stronger students, weaker students work together. They both have only two tasks, but in that case, they will kind of, they will not have this feeling that, okay, they're clever, they will win anyways, right? They both have 2 tasks of different difficulty. Yeah. We are not telling them that they are weaker. When we give exercises, we do not tell them that this exercise is easy and this task exercise is more difficult. Yeah. So again, if it's not possible to use it with your particular class, if there is a big, huge difference, then probably you can look at other activities and use something else and avoid this one. Yeah? Fine. So banana dictation, yeah, quite clear what we are doing, right? What else can be done? And in this particular case, I will show you how to do it in the real classroom, and then I will show you how it is possible to do online. So you divide the task into separate sentences. Again, depends on how many students you have in the class. If you have 10 students, you make 1 copy and you give every student 1 sentence. You give it on a piece of paper, if you can look at me. So that is me. Okay, so you give them on a piece of paper, right? Learners write the answer, but they are not writing it in the gap, but they're writing it at the back of this piece of paper. So again, not in the gap, but at the back. You as a teacher, you check, yeah, if the answer is correct or not. Then your students stand up and they chest their sentence. They keep the sentence like that, yeah? And they start mingling. So I come to my classmate and show this sentence. And my classmate has to read the sentence and give the answer. And I will tell him or her, yes, you're right. No, try again. When my peer has done my sentence, I look at his or her sentence and do the same. Then I change the partner. So that is the way we are mingling this way. And actually, by the end of the activity, a student will be likely to do all 10 sentences, even though at the very beginning, he or she has done only one. If you want to continue working with this task, yes, they were mingling, but then you ask them to sit down, you give them the whole exercise now, and they do it again. They fill in the gaps in every sentence now. If you're talking about an online studying, I was once asked about mingling activities in online studying. And, you know, I couldn't actually understand how to do it online. Thank you. So I decided, just about a few days ago, I found out there is just kind of an option in Zoom that will let your students mingle. So let's see what we do. Again, we show the screen, we show 10 sentences, but we tell each particular student which sentence they are doing. For example, Maria is doing number 1, Tatiana is doing number 2, Victor is doing number 3, Vladimir is doing number 4, and so forth. Then we go to breakout rooms. We tick this box, let participants choose the room. Then you open all rooms and your learners are allowed to choose any breakout room. So they can skip from one room to another. But to do this activity, you have to set some rules. Rule number 1. In every room, there has to be at least one person. So nobody leaves the room empty. Also, after the task is done, you decide who is leaving, who is staying. Yeah, so they were working in Paris in one room, for example. So one student is staying in the room, another one is leaving, going to another room. So that is kind of a way out if you want to do mingling. Well, here is, I wouldn't say that it's something to use with your students during regular grammar classes, but still something to use, why not? Battleship. I am not going to explain you how to play Battleship. I believe you either know or you can read about that. The question here is, which grammar may I practice or will I practice using this Battleship? Any ideas? Past simple and yeah, it is past simple plus past continuous. For example, the rain started when I was cooking dinner. For example, something like that. The biggest problem with the Battleship game is nowadays students, quite a lot of students, do not know how to play it. So if you decide to play Battleship with your students, you will need to spend quite a long time explaining the rules, setting the rules, yeah, and practicing. Yeah. A little bit easier is treasure hunt. So similar to Battleship, but instead of drawing different shapes, you simply hide some treasure. Yeah? And students are playing the same way, but the task is to find all the treasures. Snakes and ladders. You use this template. You can print one template, laminate it, but the tasks, sentences have to be given on a separate set of cards. Yes, so for each box, you prepare a separate sentence, a separate question. Again, if you want to play it online, just a second, if you want to play it online, you can do it by something like that, yeah. The students can move their triangles, circles, whatever you draw. Yeah. Same with board games like this. What this template lacks is numbers in boxes. So you do the same. You simply take squares and move. Yeah. In real life, they are called counters. Yeah. Then you can play domino. For example, conditionals. But you do not write the whole sentence. You write prompts. Yeah. Then beginning, ending, beginning. Beginning, ending, beginning, ending. Students have to put appropriate that piece of domino and make a sentence. If you want to play online, one of the ways to do that is using mirror board, where everybody can move. I cannot show you right now because it's print screen, but everybody can move sentences and create. Yeah, you see, create this long line. Quite well-known Kahoot, which can also be used as a lesson, both offline and online. But to be honest, I see a huge disadvantage in this game because as you give some limited time for doing the task, some students, they start guessing. Either they start guessing or they start pressing every answer they just feel like just to be the first one to get more points. That's why actually I rarely play it, let's be honest. Okay, and we come back to the idea that students do not know why they need grammar. So as I mentioned before, we need to present it in meaningful context, and students have to produce the language in meaningful situations. So more likely you have to provide them with something personalized. It can be kind of task circle. What I mean by that, you remember my sentences, right? True, false sentences about me. By the end of the, just closer to the end of the lesson, at the stage of production, you might ask your students to write true, false sentences about them using present perfect. And then do the same task in pairs, so they're guessing about partners. Or if you have some time, they write true, false sentences about them and they mingle, right? And they guess if the sentences are true or false about as many classmates as possible. Here you remember that that was some kind of focus on grammar, meaning, yes, and it was just a way to show that used to is about this past and past simple in this particular case. It's more like about, it's about me, not right now, but yeah, during this period of closer, I would say closer period of time. As you're working with used to, you can ask your students to do something like true false. They write statements about them using used to and then guess, or they write sentences about their past using used to, and then they find somebody who they have the most similarities to. In this particular case, yeah, I'm not sure all the students have 2 cats, and all the students can write about their cats, yeah, as now, who knows how many pets they have. What can be done here? They simply can write something about themselves, right? Or they can collect some information about their classmates. Or they can find somebody who, yeah? In this particular case, the list of activities is given, right? To practice present simple, but your students can come up with their own ideas. Where can we find these fun grammar tasks? These are some of sources I use, some books. Also, there are a lot of ideas in teachers' resource books. What is important to remember when you choose a game? First of all, the game you choose has to be simple, so that the students understand what they have to do fast. You do not need to waste your time. You have to make sure that all the students are involved. Do you yourself know how the game works? Because sometimes you read the instructions, and in general we think, okay, fine, quite clear. But when we come to the classroom, ta-dam, we find out that it's not that easy, and we didn't actually remember what has to be done. You have to give clear instructions, because only in this way the students will understand what to do. Demonstrate, better learning by seeing. You need to teach your students some interactive language. Your turn, yes, something like that. Move your counter, give me a dice. And do not make the game last forever, because at some point students lose interest. Okay, so in general, if you want to know more, so it's about, because this is about grammar, language is not only about grammar. We will be happy to see you on our CELTA courses. So these are Cambridge courses. CELTA are for those who work with little kids from 6 to 12, and CELTA is for those who work with adults. And you can see the nearest dates. The course is done on the platform, so you can do it anytime you like, but you need to just spend around 4 or 5 hours, most probably a week, on doing that. And the bravest ones, I'm just kidding, not the bravest, but if you're eager to start to take CELTA, we also start those in September. So we will be happy to see you here at our center and share our knowledge with you, our experience with you, and learn something from you as well, because we all have our just background, our knowledge, our experience, and something that we are used to doing and it works well. So sharing, exchanging is always a very good idea. So please think. If you want to join, think fast. If you have any questions so far, you can write them now and I will try to answer. If not, or if you, I don't know, if you want to keep them secret, yeah, you can write here is my email and here is my Facebook page. So if you feel like writing there, you're welcome. For now, thank you for participation. Again, any questions, you can write them in the chat box. I will be staying here for a few more minutes. And if not, see you someday in person, hopefully. And just stay healthy. Slide with the books. Yes. Let me. Yeah. Thank you very much for coming. It was very nice to share again, but still would like to do it in person. Yeah. Then thank you for now. And if no questions, then bye-bye. Yeah, we will put this the record of the webinar. It will be uploaded on YouTube, and there will be a kind of link on Facebook page. So just follow our Facebook page, and as soon as we are ready to share that, you will see. We will tell you about that there. Thank you. Have a nice day, you too. Okay.